Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Lone Wolf 902, and today I got another gear review for you guys, and this is the OneTigris Kompound Hammock. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so the Kompound Hammock comes in at 2 pounds. It comes in this neat little zip stuff sack with 2 little pockets for the straps, and on OneTigris.com it's coming in at $54.99. So let's go ahead and I got some trees here. Going to go ahead and set up the hammock and we'll get a shot and go over some of the features. Alright guys, so we got the Kompound Hammock pitched, all hung. So I'm actually hung on 2 really small diameter trees, so I had to wrap the straps around and around and around and around. So the straps that it comes with, they do have multiple loops, so you can hook into one loop or hook into the next. They call it the daisy chain system. The straps each are 10 feet long, and they work pretty good, I gotta say. So coming into the front of the hammock here, we've got nice zippers with some beautiful orange cordage, easy to find. We'll go ahead and unzip, throw the mesh back, and we'll take a seat. There we go. So pitch a little low today. So this hammock is chocked full of great features. It's going to take a little bit to go through them all, so let's get started. First off, this hammock does feature a ridgeline right here on my head. We're going to come back to that because there's an interesting kind of integration with it. But for now, let's work on the outside of the hammock. The color is green. It's a dark green. I know it's going to be a little difficult to pick up today with the white snow and whatnot, but it is a very, very dark green. Now I'm going to go ahead and zip the hammock back up just for a second. And these zippers, by the way, are awesome. I've not had these snag, not even once. So on the side of the hammock, it has these adjusters, which are becoming very common on OneTigris gear. Now as you notice, I got a line running to the ground to a peg. I can go ahead and cinch this up to give the hammock a little bit of body to open it up. At the bottom end of this non-stretch cordage that's running through the cord lock here, the adjuster, there's probably about a 6 to 8 inch section of bungee cord. So this does allow the hammock to move without ripping your peg out of the ground or without ripping the stitching off your hammock. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a straight on shot so you can see how wide the hammock opens up. So coming over to the other side here, unfortunately we have a tree in the way because that's where the hammock is. But we'll go ahead and pull this guy through the tensioner as well. And moderately tight. I mean, it's not crazy tight. Like I said, there is a bungee cord there, so if you move in the hammock, it will move with you on both ends. So it's not bound to the ground. For you guys or girls that feel a little claustrophobic inside of hammocks, this will help you out a lot. It really does. And if you get motion sick, this actually anchors the hammock, and I know it moves, but it kind of comes back centered, so it won't really sway that much. Me personally, I like a little bit of sway, so I use these when I'm kind of lounging in the hammock to kind of open it up and give it a little bit more body. But if you're not into this, you can actually just untie the knot on the end and pull it completely out. Or you can hang like a little pouch on the outside if you want to hang some gear from this. A whole bunch of different options. But that just kind of shows you the spread of the hammock. And I gotta say, I really like this. I haven't seen this integrated into a hammock yet with the tensioners and whatnot, so that's pretty cool. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the buckling system and how that is all set up, and then we'll move on inside of the hammock. All right, so here you can see we got our lines coming out of the main hammock run here, and we got pretty decent carabiners actually. These are really nice. They got like a little locking hook here. Now I'm not totally sure if these are made for climbing. It's not actually stamped on here, not for climbing, so that's kind of a question that I can't really answer right now, but the hammock is rated to support 330 pounds. So I'm going to say that these are quite strong. Here's the little loop system that they have with their straps. So you can see you got one loop here, you got another loop, and then another loop, and another one. There's 4 loops. I've got it hooked into the 3rd loop right now. You do have the option to just drop it down a loop, and that'll drop the hammock down lower, or if you want to bring it up higher to kind of adjust it a little bit higher, you can go ahead and do so without actually undoing any straps from the tree. So that's really helpful. Now, as I mentioned, the hammock does have a Ridgeline system inside of it. And right here is another one of these adjustments. Now, this is something that I have not seen in a hammock yet, is an adjustable Ridgeline. I'm sure maybe it's out there somewhere. I just haven't seen it before, and I find this feature really, really helpful as well. And again, I'll explain why once we get inside. It'll kind of make more sense. But you can go ahead and loosen off this Ridgeline completely, so it's super, super loose, or you can go ahead and crank it real nice and tight. So what this does for people that don't understand what a Ridgeline does, it not only keeps the net up off of you, but you can even have a Ridgeline in a hammock that doesn't have a net. And what the Ridgeline does is it kind of keeps the hammock with a continuous sag. So where this is adjustable, you can adjust the sag of the hammock. So if you like your hammock really tight and flat and you do want to run a Ridgeline, you could pin your hammock nice and tight with the straps, and then you can go ahead and crank your tensioner here to give you that Ridgeline tension. Or if you want a really saggy hammock with a fixed Ridgeline, the Ridgeline will be really droopy, right? So you can go ahead and loosen or tighten to get it tight to wherever you want to hang. So it's completely adjustable, it's completely customizable, and I think that in itself is awesome, because even if you're inside of here and you happen to hang something heavy on the Ridgeline and it's starting to droop down, like maybe you got a bag with, I don't know, a battery bank or whatever inside of it and it's hanging, you can go ahead and pull this tight and get it to come back up. So it's really, really neat, really great idea. But I think that's pretty much it for the outside of the hammock. So let's go ahead and unzip, and this is where the interesting part starts. Keeping it PG-13, of course. Let's go ahead and unzip. All right, so far it looks like we got a pretty basic hammock. I'll go ahead, and what I'll do is I'll loosen off this guy so it'll kind of drop away, and go ahead and sit down in the hammock. And it looks like we've got a pretty basic hammock. You're probably wondering what's so special. Well, if you look up here, we have a little pocket. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out what's inside of that pocket, and I'll show you what's interesting. All right, so reaching up inside of the hammock, we have 2 additional zippers. Now, if I reach inside of this nice little mesh pocket here, you can see, I'll actually pull it right out of the hammock. You can see that we have another kind of fabric membrane, and it's got these shock cords at different points. So if I go ahead and throw this back inside of the hammock, and I go ahead and zip this guy up, and zip this guy up, you can kind of get the idea of what's happening here. So basically what we've got going on, I'll go ahead and loosen off these side tensioners because it's gonna create a little more hassle for filming. Basically what we've got here is, this is the head end of the hammock and that's the foot end. So this is the portion that you would lay in the hammock, right where my hand is, and then you would pull this up over top of you and you'd be inside of this kind of insulative layer. Now, zip this back up, and I'll climb in here in a minute to show you guys, but up on the Ridgeline here, we have little kind of clothespin hooks that can move up and down the Ridgeline. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 of them, and there is 4 corresponding shock cords on this piece of fabric here. So with these 4 shock cords and these movable little hooks up here, move this mesh out of the way so you guys can see. Actually, well, you can see right now, this Ridgeline is kind of bouncy now that I've readjusted the hammock. So I can come all the way up here and I can go ahead and pull on that tensioner, and you can see how that brought the hammock together a little more to introduce more sag. And watch what happens when I keep pulling. So you can see what that does to the hammock. It introduces more of a sag, and this is still way up here. Go ahead and droop that over, and you can see it's up nice and high out of your face. And then the same can be said if I go ahead and drop it. You can see how the hammock drops. And I apologize, we got airplanes flying over today. It's kind of a noisy day, so perfect review day. All right, so coming back over to these shock cords and the Ridgeline having these little hooks. I can slide this all the way down above this shock cord, and I can toggle it in, put a real simple overhand knot in there, nothing special. And then I come back over to this one, kind of rearrange where I want this hook to be, and go ahead and tie this up a little bit with just a simple little slip knot, again, overhand knot. And go ahead and do the same, and so on all the way down the hammock. Now, what this does is it gives you a nice little sheet to crawl into. And this fabric is super, super fine. It actually does hold a fair bit of heat. Obviously, it's not going to do a terrible amount of, it's not going to give you a terrible amount of warmth in the winter, but in the summertime, this will get hot. It will get nice and warm inside of there. So you really, probably depending on where your climate is, you may not even need a real, like, a thick top quilt or anything. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and crawl inside. I'll take my jacket off, kick my boots off here. Ugh. All right, so I've gone ahead and kicked my boots off, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and slip in, and then I'm going to zip up this little sheet, and you guys can kind of see the gist of it. So if I'm laying here in my hammock, generally I'd have my blanket or my jacket behind my head as a nice pillow. And you know, you can kind of see, I can't really reach the other one. I already loosened it off. Oh, I could reach it actually. There we go. All right, so this is with those two lines on the sides pulled out. You can see it opens up fairly wide. So coming back into this little integrated sheet type deal, go ahead and zip this up. And you don't have to hook these on to these hooks up here, but what it does is it keeps it off of your body, and that'll help trap warm air. So when you're laying in here, it'll actually kind of build a little bit of a heat channel. Nothing crazy, not a massive amount of heat, but like I said, climate dependent. If you're in the summer, it could build up a fair bit of heat. Go ahead and zip up all the way. All right, so my face is barely poking out right now. I'm completely in underneath of the sheet, and this front one right in front of my face, you can see it's kind of up a little high. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to lower it down just a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why. All right, and I'm going to tell you why I love this system so much. When I'm out in the hammock in the wintertime, so this is where I put it when I'm sleeping in the wintertime. Now, I have in my hammock, when I got all my underquilts on here, and I'm inside of my top quilt. With this off, pretend this isn't even here. Pretend I'm just in a regular hammock. I'm laying down. I wake up every morning and the whole top of my quilt and sleeping bag, whatever I'm using inside, is completely covered in ice and frost. From exhaling out of your mouth, all that frost lands, the moisture, and it freezes, and your sleeping bag ends up getting wet at some point. So this is awesome for winter time. Absolutely awesome, because I get inside of my top quilt, and then I go ahead and I zip this up, and now I effectively have a frost bib. This will catch all of the frost, all of the falling snow. As you can see right now, I'm inside of my hammock and I have the mesh open. So I could still sit here and have my coffee on the ground, and I could pull my arms out. I mean, if you guys are reading books or doing whatever you're doing inside your hammock, you can put your pillow behind you and you can lounge just like this. I could reach out, grab my coffee, come up, take a drink, and my sleeping bag is not getting snow on top of it. So this is another great use for this. It not only holds a little bit of heat in the warmer months, but it also offers the whole idea of being able to be in an open hammock, not getting snow on you. And my main use is it blocks all the frost in the middle of the night from attacking my top quilt. So awesome. It's fully adjustable. Like I said, you can lower it. You could completely detach all of these. Just quick little pull like that, and you can run it so it's completely flat, or you can pin them up really high. The possibilities, I mean, however you want to hang it, you can hang it. And if you don't like it at all, you could just simply remove it. put it all the way up in the pocket, tuck it in, say goodbye, leave it. But I highly suggest using it if you have it. It offers many uses. So I'm gonna jump out of the hammock as I'm completely covered in snow inside of it and show you guys a little bit more about the hammock, and I'll go ahead and give you guys my assessment. All right, so outside of the hammock, like I was saying, simple little slip knot. Give it a little pull, bounces back down. So if you want to get it out of the way, we'll go ahead and unzip and simply ball it up and tuck it right inside of this mesh pocket up here. Go ahead and tuck it in there for the day. Let's say you don't need it or you don't want to use it. Tuck it in there, tuck all the cords in there, and you're good to go. Now, another feature with this is when you are inside of the hammock and this is deployed, you now have a little mesh pocket up here to put your hat, your mittens, whatever you want to put in there, you can put in there, and it's easy to find at nighttime. So another little feature that I like with this Ridgeline, where it has all of these hooks, is they're slidable. So they got these little pinch type sliders, so you can move it, let go, and it's fixed there pretty well. There's 4 of them, so I can hang my mittens, my hats, whatever you need to hang. If you have string lights in your hammock, you can go ahead and tuck the batteries in this little pocket, so a little on and off switch, and then you can run your lights all the way up the ridge, and you can turn them on, turn them off. The possibilities with this thing, I mean, there's so many features packed into one hammock. It's unreal. Unreal, and they did an amazing job, an awesome job at making this. Remember the storage sack that the hammock came in? So this is the actual stuff sack that it came in. Well, it's got these 2 loops on either end. So, gonna go ahead and hang it up on the Ridgeline, and it just simply slips right in on the little hook. And you can go ahead and grab another hook, slide it down, go ahead and hook it in to the storage sack again, and then spread them out to give that nice little bit of tension. Now you've got a built-in pocket up above, and you can slide it anywhere you want to. If you want to slide it all the way up here, or if you want to slide it all the way down here, you can do that. So this is one side. I'll bring it back over to center camera. So this is one side of the stuff sack where it's got the main zipper compartment. You can go ahead and zip it shut, put whatever you want inside of there. I'll go ahead and turn it around and show you guys the other side. So if you want to hang it the other side, open this way, you can. Like I said, totally customizable with this hammock. So now you got the 2 individual mesh pockets and then the large pocket on the other side. So now if you got a flashlight you want to slip in there, if you got your phone you want to slip in there, whatever you want to do, it's there for you to do. So you got an overhead organizing pocket. That's the stuff sack. I mean, it's genius the way that everything, it's so simple, but it's so smart. So I really like that about this. So pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review and give you guys my thoughts, and then I'm going to pack it away and get on to the next review. Yeah, so my thoughts of the hammock, 2 thumbs up for sure. Absolutely, I totally love the hammock. This is now my current main hammock. I take it with me every single trip I go on. It's packed full of adjustments, packed full of excellent features with the little hooks on the Ridgeline, like I was saying. The adjusters here on the side guy outs, so you can guy it out or you can just let it fall flat like a regular hammock. The zippers are excellent cordage on here. The adjustable Ridgeline is a huge plus. The daisy chain kind of system with the nice carabiners. The inside sheet that kind of goes up over you, I call it the frost bib, but everything about this hammock is top notch, and I absolutely love it. Love it. So I highly recommend this hammock. It's a great hammock if it's pouring down with rain and you come out and you need to pitch your hammock real fast. This system allows you to throw it up really sloppy, really fast, and then you can fine tune it with all the adjustments. So you can fine tune it with the side adjustments, with the little daisy chain system, with the straps, and then the big one is the Ridgeline. You can adjust the sag of the hammock just with a simple pull of a cord. Droop it down, tighten it up, whatever you want to do. Awesome. And this mesh right now, I mean, now that it's actually starting to snow, you can see the snow is just completely bouncing off the mesh. So this stuff is excellent. You can lay in there in the snow in the wintertime. No snow's coming in there. awesome tent hammock. Great product. I love it. Absolutely love it. So if you guys like this, you guys will be seeing it a lot more in my hammock camping videos coming up. And that's pretty much all I got for you in this video. So take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.